First, I want to take a moment to talk about some flooding we've got right now in southeastern Wisconsin. Heavy rain has led to extensive flooding throughout our community. I've spoken with Governor Walker. He has declared a state of emergency in Kenosha, Racine, and Walworth counties. There's already been extensive property damage to the homes and businesses, but so far, thankfully, no loss of life. I want to commend all the state and the local officials who are working around the clock to address this emergency, particularly the people at the dam in Burlington. I intend to return home today to see firsthand and to respond to recovery efforts on the ground and to just assess the damage. Second, the House continues to take action on issues that affect people in their everyday lives. Yesterday, the House passed 3 more bipartisan initiatives to combat human trafficking. Today, the Ways and Means Committee is holding another hearing on tax reform. This one focuses on the struggles that small businesses are facing under the current tax code. Under this crazy system we have, successful small businesses pay a top marginal tax rate as high as 44.6%. They cannot compete like that. This is one of the reasons it is so important that we reform our tax code to level the playing field for more jobs and for more growth. This is essential if we're ever going to get our economy growing at its potential. Then tomorrow, the House is set to take action on our annual national defense bill. This is the next step in keeping our promise to rebuild our military for the 21st century. And this will give our troops a well-deserved, fully funded pay raise. So these are just a few big issues we're making progress on this week. Finally, quickly over the break, it came to my attention that there was an issue about dress code. I'll be honest, this is not something that was covered in my new speakership orientation ceremony. The Sergeant of Arms was simply enforcing the same interpretation of the rules as under my predecessors. This is nothing new, and certainly not something that I devised. At the same time, that doesn't mean that enforcement couldn't stand to be a bit modernized. So that is why we will be working with the Sergeant of Arms to ensure the enforcement of appropriate business attire is updated. Decorum is important, especially for this institution, and a dress code in the chamber and the lobby makes sense. But we also don't need to bar otherwise accepted contemporary business attire. So look for a change on that soon. Questions? Yeah.
You were chief negotiator for Republicans a few years ago on a big budget deal, the Ryan Murray deal. With a number of financial deadlines piling up and we're about to head into August recess, there's some thought that some similar kind of deal would be necessary at the end of September. Is that something you're open to?
It is. Yeah. Who are you with?
For the Washington Delay. My name is Chris Johnson. I question on the Hartford Amendment to the Defense Authorization Bill. It marks the first time ever that the House of Representatives has voted on a measure specifically targeting transgender people. Do you support the amendment and predict it will pass as part of the bill?
Yeah, I think it's important that we work closely with the DOD on this. As you probably know, Secretary Mattis is under review on this right now. And so I want to make sure that what we do is in close coordination with them.
Well, how can you,
We'll see what happens with the Hartzler Amendment. And she also is concerned about this, but again, I think it's important that we coordinate closely with DOD as they review this.
my question though is that if you want to coordinate with them, why are you passing an amendment that
Because it's a free process. It's an open process. She can bring an amendment to the floor if she wants to. Yeah.
Question about Obamacare taxes. You said in last month that if the Senate bill fails or for some reason doesn't repeal Obamacare taxes, those will be left in place. They're obnoxious taxes, but you're just going to put them on.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. They are obnoxious taxes, yeah. Yeah, so you want to know what happens to the baseline?
Well, no, so you said before that you were just going to put those off to the side and they wouldn't be addressed in tax reform. I'm wondering if that's still the case or if you would consider addressing those taxes in tax reform.
Well, I guess I'd say one of the taxes that affects tax on capital income is something that is a critical part of tax reform itself. Other taxes that affect health care, like the HIT tax and those taxes, those we see as part of Obamacare. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. On the budget deal, why not push harder now? And what guarantee do constituents have that the appropriations process means anything when the spending levels violate current federal spending?
Because we believe the House should make its position. This is why Diane Black has done such a tremendous job getting all of the House on the same page and the House Republicans to agree on what we think the right numbers are. You see the NDA being marked up at the number that the Appropriations Committee is working on, that the Budget Committee is working on. So this is the classic legislative process. The House moves with its position, the Senate moves with theirs, and then we negotiate a compromise at the end of the day but we believe it's in our interest to move forward with our plan, with what we think is the right thing to do. And at the end of the day, we'll find a solution.
But is time running out? I mean.
No, I think we're doing fine. We're actually well ahead of schedule. I especially as you've heard me always say, I think I said this the other day, a new presidency, you have a delayed budget process. So that's the case. It was the case when we had Clinton and Bush and Obama. This is the first year of a new presidency with a delayed budget process. But with a delayed budget process, I'm very impressed that the appropriators are all but done with their work. So they've moved so quickly in the month of July, with their deadline being 2 months from now, that we're getting their work done. And now we're talking with our members about how to process that through the House. Yeah.
So Senate leadership's supposed to come out with their healthcare bill today. Apparently, Lindsey Graham and Bill Cassidy are introducing their own healthcare bill. And the president's still saying if Republicans can't get a deal on a bill, they should do repeal and replace separately. I guess my question is, would the House go back and look at any of these other options? Or now that you've passed something, do you sort of think you've done your part in that?
As tempting as it is to comment on the Senate's deliberation and their process, I want to give them the space to get their job done. We have a promise to keep, and we kept that promise in the House. I look forward to seeing the Senate do the same.
Can I follow up?
Sure.
Would the House stay in session through
Yes.
August if they
Yeah, if the Senate is going to give us a health care bill, we're going to stay and finish the health care bill.
Speaker Ryan, Senator Grassley is sending a letter to John Jr., Donald Trump Jr., asking him to testify about his meeting. Should the president's son testify
I think any witness who's been asked to testify before Congress should testify.
in public?
I'll leave that up to the witness and the Senate to decide that, the committees. But anybody who is asked to testify to the Senate should do that.
The bill to reauthorize the FAA could come to the floor as soon as next week. There's been some changes to it from the effort last year, but the crux of it is the same, to remove air traffic control operations from FAA. You didn't bring it to the floor last year. What's changed this year that makes you support that?
Well, I'll defer the specific questions to Chairman Schuster, but this bill is changed substantially. That's why I think you see so much more support for this bill than you did last year. We're going through the conversations with our members on this bill right now. It's a big change. Look, here's the problem with the FAA. We're in the 20th century. We have a 20th century system in the 21st century. We need to upgrade the entire air traffic control system for lots of reasons, for safety and for efficiency. Chairman Schuster put together a very impressive effort with a lot more support than we had last year, and he's now educating members and getting their feedback on how to do it. I don't even think we've whipped it yet, so I think we're whipping it probably today is my recollection. So we'll see how that goes.
Did the president's support help move the needle, do you think, for members?
Yeah, I think the president's support did help. Yeah. Who are you with?
Talking to news. On the human trafficking bills, do you think local law enforcement agencies are well equipped to take on the online aspect of human trafficking?
Well, I think that's part of Chris Smith's effort, and the broader effort is to make sure that they are well equipped with it. That's the whole point, is to give all levels of law enforcement the tools they need to be able to enforce these laws.
Last question.
Carrie.
Since the Alexandria shooting, we've seen a number of Second Amendment concealed carry type bills coming from your conference. What kind of movement will we see over in your chamber right now?
I don't actually know the full extent of that question. I support reciprocity, but I don't know if all of our members support reciprocity. There are issues that conservatives have on federalism grounds on that. My own view with respect to the members of Congress, we get that question, we've got to be treated under the same law like everybody else. No special exceptions for a member of Congress as far as I'm concerned. So, thank you.